While 51% of the vote passes the constitutional threshold of a majority, it clearly is not adequate support to continue on as leader. And that is why tonight I have informed the president of the party of my intention to step down as leader of the United Conservative Party. I'm sorry, but friends, I truly believe that we need to move forward united. We need to put the past behind us. And our members, a large number of our members, have asked for an opportunity to clear the air through a leadership election. And I've recommended, therefore, that the provincial board schedule a leadership election in a timely fashion. I want to thank all members who participated in this process and the hundreds of volunteers who have pitched in. I also want to thank so many of you here and right across the province for your support and the tireless efforts of those who have had confidence in my continued leadership.
Adam Soos here for Rebel News, and I'm in the beautiful hamlet of Enchant, Alberta, for our latest UCPleadership.com coverage of the race to see who will replace Jason Kenney as the leader of the United Conservative Party moving forward, and who likely will be taking on Rachel Notley and the NDP in the next election. At this point, only two names have entered the race, the very first of which was Danielle Smith, who declared very quickly. I did have an opportunity to speak with her already, but we are heading to this town hall that she's hosting here in Enchant tonight to hear a little bit more about her vision of Alberta and hopefully ask her some more tough questions. The other person, of course, who we're very much looking forward to speaking to and covering his bid for the leadership is Todd Loewen. He's an MLA who's ejected from the UCP for daring to question Jason Kenney's COVID protocols, which maybe Jason Kenney should have listened to him, taken some of that good advice. But we're going to pop inside tonight to this Danielle Smith event, talk to some folks, see what they think, see if there's something about Danielle Smith that attracts them to her and the capacity and potential for her to be the leader of the UCP. And we're also hopefully going to ask her some questions directly.
This should never happen again. Especially if you saw 2 days ago, they voted to keep the vaccine restrictions. As one of the commentators in British Columbia pointed out, so Aaron Gunn, who tried to run for the leadership there, said it's now legal to own and possess and use heroin and fentanyl and cocaine, but it's illegal to get on a plane if you're unvaccinated. That's bananas, like even just from a public health point of view.
I don't have a lot of faith in Kenney. I think he kind of missed the boat there. And no, I think he's blaming all sorts of people for what happened to him, but I think he was a master of his own disaster, so I'm looking for change and a fresh look in the party, and I'd like to see the party come together and really go back to grassroots and take off again.
Well, we've been long-time reformers, conservatives. My husband started at Social Credit, so we're free enterprisers, and we just want to keep our province as a free enterprise province.
And do you think Danielle Smith is someone who can do that?
Oh, she's one of several people that can do that. We have some excellent candidates, and she's certainly a good candidate.
Why is it that politicians don't get, just like, people have lost their jobs, families have lost everything, people are truly suffering because of these mandates? You're probably the first politician I've seen shed a tear over that.
I've spent a lot of time, because I left my job at Chorus because I wasn't able to freely talk about the full range of medical choice and medical options and be honest with the public about what the risk factors were. And so I've been following this for a long time. I started my locals page to give people a forum where they could actually share these ideas. And so I have a lot of friends who are in this vaccine choice movement. And so I've met a lot of them. And it appalls me the way they're being mischaracterized by politicians and by the media, because they are just regular people who were pushed too far, and they never thought government would do this to them. And I think the big thing is the number of parents who are gravely, gravely worried about their children and their children's mental health and the kind of society that we're creating. When you talk to families and they're thinking, well, maybe if we could just get through this, we'll find a way to escape and go to another country. Like, that's not who we are. We need to have everybody stay here. And so I think it was the fact that so many parents are just so worried about their kids, and they can't they can't talk about the harm that's been caused to the kids without tearing up. When you hear those stories, you just got to do something about it. We've got to do something about it. You know, I've done this before because I got frustrated with the progressive conservatives, which is why I left to join the Wild Rose. And we just, I found that when I was with Wild Rose, that we sort of had a barrier in being able to break through in the mainstream. And there's a value in trying to take a party that is mainstream and broadening it out to where it should be. Because you need that coalition if you're going to form government. I think parties can change from within. We saw that Lougheed was a different leader than Klein, who was a different leader than Don Getty. We saw that we've had different leaderships and different character of the party, and I think that we can change if we get the right leader in. So I would say that I'm going to campaign on a very strong autonomy message, and I hope that people are willing to give this a chance. I don't think that we've ever really pushed back from Ottawa. I don't think we've ever really put Alberta first. And once we do, I think we can change the conversation in the country. And that's what that's why I hope everybody will come back in and give it one more chance.
How do you sort of shift the entire culture? How do you deal with some of those people who were instrumental in what saw Jason Kenney sort of ushered out of the party unofficially?
You know, I know there's a lot of talent in the UCP caucus. I know there were a lot of voices trying to fight internally from within, and I think that will come out when we start seeing a new leader who gives their caucus members more freedom. That's what was missing in this whole discussion, is the fact that if we had allowed for our MLAs to truly represent their constituents, I don't believe that we would have seen these lockdowns. I don't think we would have seen the restrictions. We certainly wouldn't have seen vaccine passports. We wouldn't have seen any discussion of businesses getting shielded from liability for firing workers. And that, to me, I think gives me confidence that there are enough voices within caucus. The leadership was the problem. And so if we change the leadership, I think we've got a really good crew of people there who could form a solid cabinet. I'd have to wait. I would like to talk to current cabinet ministers to understand how much they were pushing from within, because that's not what we were able to see. And when you are part of a cabinet, you kind of have to make a decision collectively and defend it. So I'll keep an open mind, but I'll also want to make sure that caucus has a level of support for those who are in cabinet, because I think that there are a few people that may have alienated caucus members, and if we're going to put a new fresh face, there's got to be some new faces in there as well.
Well, we need good, solid government, and we need limited government. We need to pay as you go, and to spend our resources very wisely. Sometimes government lately have got to the point where they think that the state is better than the individual, and I think we've got to keep things in priority order.
And do you think Danielle is someone who can sort of advocate for the priority being on the individual?
I believe so.
Well, that is a wrap on the Town Hall Leadership Campaign event for Danielle Smith, as she makes her case as to why she should be the next leader of the United Conservative Party and take on Rachel Notley and the NDP in the next provincial election. If you want to catch this and all of the latest reports on the UCP leadership, make sure to ucpleadership.com. As always, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Soos. As more and more people officially declare and throw their hats in the ring for the leadership of the United Conservative Party here in Alberta, we want to let you know that we will be doing boots on the ground journalism, talking to all of them and asking the tough questions that you want answers to. To ensure you miss none of that important coverage, check in regularly at ucpleadership.com.